warm welcome to you wherever you are across the globe. This is Sport Africa. This is where we talk about the biggest football and sporting stories on the continent of Africa. My name remains Ashalu Femi. Been a while. Of course, we have so much on our plates to give you today, so it's going to be another interesting time together right here. Kayode Ogundari and James Agbredi, they are here. We have so much to dish to you today, guys.
Thank you very much, Femi. It's a pleasure to be here as always.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. Happy to be on today's edition.
All right. Okay, so we'll be resuming our regular programming today. We'll be talking about the continental roundup and, of course, the big talking points where we'll give you all that we have. Then, of course, we'll be talking about the stars in diaspora today, as well as the big match on the continent. We'll be taking you to Tunisia. And you know it's always very feisty when two teams meet in that part of Africa. But today, of course, talking about the continental roundup, the 13th edition of the African Games will officially open today in Ghana. And of course, Minister of Sports in Ghana, Mustafa Yusuf, said they are targeting 2 billion viewers, audience, if you want to call it, across all the viewing channels. And of course, they'll be inviting or welcoming 13,000 participants, talking about the athletes, diplomats, volunteers, officials, journalists, 13,000. So it's going to be a very busy few weeks in Ghana. Okay, of course, we're also talking about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Officially, the NFF, they have advertised the vacant position of the position of Eagles coach. Meaning to you, that is Kayode Ogundari's own club. Thank God Kayode is on the show today. The players have gone on strike. They refused to train because of 5 months unpaid salaries and bonuses. Can you imagine that? And of course, we'll be talking about, if we have time, we're talking about Ugo Bruce today on the show. Then the stars in the big match will be going to Tunisia. Let's go on this break. We'll be back to talk about to go straight into the big talking point. Please stay with us. All right, welcome back. It's still Sports Africa, and the show is just getting started. You haven't missed much if you're just bugging into this. Kayode, I'll start with you. The Super Eagles of Nigeria at the moment, they do not have a coach, and like I said, in the continental and the Nigeria Football Federation have officially advertised that position. They also advertised the position of the under-17 team, but the Super Eagles, being the biggest brand of the teams in Nigeria, that position is currently vacant.
Well, this was what my fears were. The other day, I was telling you about the need to retain Pesero. Of course, a lot of people misunderstood what I mean. The NFF, their incompetence. They could be on this until the end of the year and will not get a coach, a substantive coach for the Super Eagles. We keep talking about bringing in world-class coaches in quotes, and we end up not getting anybody. At the end of the day, we settle for Austin Eguavon, the head of the technical department, to step in a temporary capacity. I think if you knew Pesero's contract was coming to an end, you knew that it's possible he was not going to renew, or you are going to let him go at any rate, then I suppose that by now you should have had a short list of that end. So even if you wanted, you could have just applied like other people would have applied. So that does not hold water that day because we had a coach, we couldn't have had an advertisement that, oh, we are looking for a coach. That's what we are doing now. We are about full circle. Pesero has been anything.
To put things in context, initially Pesero was on the $70,000 monthly salary, pre-AFCON, before his contract expired and all the agreement to reduce the salary. Now, post-AFCON, he's demanding for $120,000 every month, out of which he would be continue to pay his backroom staff. Now, the NFF and the sports ministry said they can only afford $80,000 monthly. And he said if he's going to take $80,000, the NFF will start paying his backroom staff. So that was where the conversation ended. So the NFF advertising this position means that they have stopped negotiating with Pesero.
Yeah, it appears to be so. But I still say that I think paying Pesero $80,000 is not money well spent. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that it's not money well spent. It's not money well spent. I tell you, the AFCON, well, of course, we see things differently. A lot of people saw Nigeria going very close to winning the title, but I saw Nigeria in all our glory, in all our potentials, and all our limitations at that competition. So for me, I think I do not see Pesero in that light. And he might have just overpriced himself out of a very, very convenient deal for him, because the Nigerian job is a convenient one for him. It gives him the opportunity with minimum effort to get good results, and then have employers who are clueless and will always put their foot in their mouth. And at the end of the day, he stands to lose nothing. He will still get his money regardless of whatever happens with the federation. So we had he was going to go to Algeria. That is no longer possible because Algeria announced their coach. So maybe it's out on the job market. He's looking for a team. The NFF are still looking for a manager.
Okay, of course, we saw Pesero at the Santiago Bernabeu during the week to watch Real Madrid versus RB Leipzig in the UEFA Champions League. James, let's go to Ghana now because of our time. Of course, Red Tamale United, Kayade's own team, the players, they've boycotted training. And this weekend, they're supposed to travel to out of Lions in the Ghana Premier League. They are currently at the bottom of the table. They have 18 points from 19 games. They've even played more games than the number of points they had. And their coach, Abdulmumin Abdul, said for 5 months the players have not been paid their coach. He said he hasn't been paid for a year. Can you imagine that for professional players who have families, who have responsibilities? And what actually caught my attention was what he said. He said we are trying to find a solution, but the players' decision not to train speaks volume. We are brainstorming to leave the spirit with some psychological tactics. Please, what are you going to say to leave the spirit of such players who haven't been paid for 5 months, James?
The sad thing about things like this is when you now hear of players going to places like maybe Luxembourg, like maybe the back areas in Europe, you begin to like why the player standard so low and things like that. I mean, these are the reasons. I mean, you are owning players for months, but when they make moves like this, you begin to question them and begin to say all sorts. I mean, how do you expect them to give their all? I mean, the coach now is not saying they're trying to live with spirit. The spirit already down, almost out. I mean, so it's sad. Like we always say, like Nigeria, like Nigeria, like Ghana. I mean, and the sad part about this thing is the officials. They don't. You never hear things like officials being owed or they are planning to go on strike because of unpaid salaries. And it's always the players, the main actors. So it's sad that we always come here to talk about things like this. And it's like we always talk, it's like forever we continue to say it. It just goes to show the kind of people who are on the aims of affairs, people who run football. They don't care. The officials don't care about the players. Their own is just to milk these players and so any player who at the end of the day decide to go to maybe the back side of Europe to play and get good dollars, I mean, all well and good. You cannot continue. There are players with families, players who. I remember when the former Nigerian international Ifeanyi Udeze, when he was in one of his programs, he was talking about the Nigerian clubs. I've forgotten the club now. That's why the players, they owe food sellers. They owe them when they buy on credit. Then when they they're now upset, So it's very shameful. It's disheartening, and Femi, we'll continue to say these things, and as long as we continue to have people like this running our affairs, Femi, we will not hear the end of this.
Okay, Kyle, this reminds me of a few weeks ago. Outland of Weri. Outland is a football club in the Nigerian Professional Football League for our viewers who are in the diaspora. They slashed the salary of the players by 50% because of poor results. I remember they got hit 5-1 at home by Plateau United. So the management decided to slash the salary of the players by 50% just like that without any prior information. And they said once the players begin to get good results, they will return into paying full salary. Carl, what is going on with your team, RTU? At the bottom of the table, they're already down and out. Most likely will get relegated at the end of the season.
Femi, I was secretly hoping you were not going to drag me into the RTU drama. But RCU, for information, are a very big club in Ghana. They're in the northern part of Ghana, in Tamale, and it's so sad seeing what is happening to that team. A team that should be doing better than they are doing. For your information and the information of some of our fans from outside Ghana, that used to be the team of the great Abedi Pele. He played for them when he was still in the Ghanaian league. For you, that's just to put in context that they had a very illustrious past. But if you're not paying players, then there's no justification for the players continuing to play. Of course, it's a chicken and egg situation for me. You could say the players are not doing well. That's why you're not playing them. Then the players will tell you that because you are not paying them, that's why they are not doing well. So it's a chicken and egg situation. It depends on what you think is the reason why one is existing before the other. And then bringing it to Outland, this is the importance of having the concrete contract, Femi. If the players have the contract, no official will wake up one day and say because they are not doing well, you are slashing their salary. If they are not doing well, pack up the team and let them go home. Who slashes the salary of the officials when the team is not doing well? Why would it need the players to pay? It's a joint effort. The officials have their own part to play. The players have their own part to play. If you are not doing what you're supposed to do, of course, it will affect the players' morale. And the players' morale will decide what they do on the pitch. And if they are not doing well, that means the root cause is not about the players' on-field performance. It's about what you, as the officials, do behind closed doors. So for me, when you say you are slashing salaries, it's also unheard of. Not unheard for. It happens a lot, but it's also amateurish. When you say you are, I don't even want to begin to comprehend what that is supposed to mean. At any rate, that you are going to start player salaries because they are not doing well when they have a valid contract that is subsisting. No, we can do better.
Okay, but if people talk about money being a motivation for players on the pitch, I think we need to ask Manchester United players the reason for them not really getting motivated on the pitch. James, let's go to South Africa now. Ugo Plus, finally, as we leave talking points, he's been talking about maybe I would say in quotes now, threatening the South Africa Football Association that he might resign his job if the media in South Africa do not really stop criticizing him. According to him, he said after the AFCON, he met Danny Jordan, and he said he wants to resign. And he was jokingly saying that if Danny Jordan had not been seated, he could have fallen over if he was standing because they expected him to sit to stay back. And he said it's just because of the criticism that he's been receiving from the South African media. He was talking about the qualifiers that are resuming in June. He said he knows that if he doesn't do well against Nigeria, he will likely get criticized again. And he said if this continues, he will just pack his bags and return to Belgium to his grandchildren. But I thought criticism, maybe constructive criticism at this point now is part of being a coach, because sometimes people see you as the edge of the football when it comes to playing on the field.
Yeah, Femi, I'm even surprised about this criticism thing. I find criticism is part of the game, but I begin to imagine what are they criticizing him for? Going into the AFCON, I don't think any South African will come out and beat their chest back then that the Bafana will reach where they got to, or maybe Rowan Williams will emerge as the best goalkeeper of the tournament. So I don't know what is what the criticism all about. I mean, this is somebody that took them to the semi-final for the first time since 2000. That's like how many years ago, and helped them to win their first medal since AFCON 2000. So I think what they should be thinking of is how to build from this. How to, okay, fine, we never expected to get to this stage, but luckily we got there, and against all expectations, and now the World Cup qualifier is just around the corner. So this is the time for them to just sit down and look at where they didn't do well and improve, rather than attacking the coach like as if he promised them to win the AFCON. They, even deep down, the majority of South Africans, they never believe that they will even get out from the group stage. They went like 4 straight games without conceding, and all of a sudden they thought, okay, this is where that they're going to win the AFCON until they lost to Nigeria. So for me, they should like I said, they should just sit down and encourage the coach and encourage the team. You know, at least something positive, some teams, positive things came out from the AFCON exploit. So that's what they should, start thinking of. But this idea of attacking the coach, I mean, it's surprising to me, and it's not something that they need right now.
Kayode, maybe I'll put a quote so that our viewers across the world will understand what we're saying. And I'll just quote partly what he said. He said, I said first and foremost, what I made through in the last 2.5 years of criticism, and I don't want to experience that anymore. I know everything that is good now, but in June, we have a World Cup qualifier, and if we don't do well, it will start again and it will be worse. Also, I'm alone. My family is in Belgium, and I'm not going to do that anymore where I am away for 2.5 months. It is a lot, especially when you have grandchildren and it gets even worse. Kayode, doesn't this job come with criticism when you don't do well as a coach? You failed to qualify for the last AFCON, you failed to qualify for the 2022 World Cup. I'm sure that was where the criticism started. But now he's saying that even at the World Cup qualifier in June, if South Africa still do not do well, it's going to get worse. And what is actually saying, he will just pack his bag and just leave the job for South Africans or even the SAFA.
Well, I still don't think the criticism is misplaced, Femi. Don't let us forget that regardless of the fact that they got to the semi-finals of the AFCON, they won the top place game, they still have not, they started the World Cup qualifiers on a shaky ground. They have 3 points, just one ahead of Nigeria, but both of those giants that we expected to run things in the group are seriously behind Rwanda. That's like something nobody saw coming. So, and the AFCON is come and gone. If he wants to continue to adulate on what he did at the AFCON, so good luck to him. The South African fans and the media, they have a right to expect him for the quantum of money he's being paid. I will take the money and take the criticism, Femi. You cannot expect that you will pay that much and nobody will talk. They will leave you with whatever you like. Of course, I understand there's a line that you draw between criticism and just outright bashing. But hey, Femi, you know this guy is a very old dog in the business. He knows those he's dealing with. He knows his public. His public is not the South African fans or media. His public is not the South African fans. His public is the players and officials. Those are the people he's contracted to, not the fans, not the media. So when Hugo Bros begins to talk about the media getting to him, I think he's just been clever by half. He has done this over and over again. He was an accomplished footballer. He has done a lot since he became a coach. He has coached several in several countries. He has coached in several clubs. So he knows the deal. He knows what the job demands. So coming out to say this, I am struggling to understand where all of that is going. If he wants to sit with this, to go home and play with his grandkids, so be it. He should just leave their job for them and go so that they get another coach. You cannot expect to be paid that much and you say they should not criticize you. No way. It should be criticized if it's not doing what they want.
Okay, of course. Nice to see James. I can't agree on the subject after a long while. Okay, for stars in diaspora today, we'll be going to Benin Republic. We told you, and we're talking about Noli Yarigo. She's finally won Benin Republic's first medal at the World Indoor Championships in Glasgow after 20 years. And she's not 20, she's not 25, she's not 30, she is 38 years. So in all that you do, please do not give up. So finally, the Republic can boast of a medal at the World Indoor Championship, of course, taking place in Glasgow, Scotland. Let's go on this break. When we return, we'll be going to a big match of the weekend. We know it's going to be feisty. It's going to be very, very tight in Tunisia when you desire an experience clash this weekend. We'll be back. Please stay with us. Welcome back to Sports Africa. Of course, we've had so much fun on the show today. Kayode Ogundare and James Agberebi, and they've been, of course, looking at issues today together on the show today. Okay, now let's talk about our big match of the weekend. Like I said, the two decided to be hosting Esperance of Tunisia. These are big clubs in African football, even in CAF competitions. Of course, they've established themselves as giants. And this weekend, they'll be clashing in the Tunisian league. And Cardiff, 42. Okay, I'll start with James. James, 42 matches. Etoile du Sahel, they've won 8. Esperance have won 20. And 14 matches have ended in a draw. I think Esperance, they've established dominance in this one. Even if you look at the last 3 matches that they've played in their respective fixtures, Esperance have shown that they have the best form.
Well, it is not. It doesn't come as a surprise. Esperance has always been that team that when you talk about giants of Tunisian football, I mean, you look no further than first you mention Esperance, then before you start talking of the likes of Etoile du Sahel, Club Africain, Sfax, you know. So Esperance is always, so that's why the records are just there. In even their previous meeting, you see that Esperance has, you know, edged it, you know. But coming to this weekend, that's the thing about derby games. You never know where it's going to, where the surprise will come from. Going into this fixture, Esperance, they have the edge because of what they've been doing in the past few games. But it doesn't take anything away from the fact that Etoile can spring a surprise. They are not like, no, it's not like they are a small fry. They have what it takes to bring Esperance down. So that's why it's going to be a very, very exciting encounter. 2 heavyweights in Tunisian football, you know, and one of the heavyweights in African football going at it this weekend. You know, so for me, on paper, you give it to Esperance based on past meetings and their past performances. You know, but like I said, it's not going to be just straight in the park for them. They will have to sweat for it. It's well decided. They are former African champions. The 2 teams are former African champions. You know, so they know what it's at stake. You know, so for me, it's going to be a tight one, but just on paper, you want to give it to Esperance, you know. So I can maybe say they might just win by the odd goal, maybe 1-0, 2-1 to Esperance. But for me, I'm telling you, it's going to be a terrific and exciting encounter. And just watch out for the crowd. You know, when these 2 teams meet, the crowd, I mean, that's another spectacle on its own. You know, the flares and everything. So let's look forward to a very exciting encounter.
Okay, of course, I do not envy who is going to be the center referee in this one. Kaude, as we wrap up now, in the last 3 matches, Etoile du Sahel, they picked only 1 point, lost 2, and in the last meeting against Esperance, they lost 2-0 at home. So it's going to be very, very difficult for them now going to Esperance in this one. Like you read in the head-to-head, Esperance, they've won 20 out of the 42 games they've played. 14 have ended in a draw, and Du Sahel, they've won only 8. So on paper, we can say that Esperance have the edge, even in current form as well. Esperance, they have the edge.
Yeah, of course, you could say that Esperance they are the big elephants in Tunisian football. Everybody knows that. Everybody should know. And then I think you would, at first glance, give this game to Esperance. Looking at the head-to-head between those 2 teams, they hold an healthy advantage over their opponents, and everything points to an Esperance victory. It will take a monumental meltdown for Esperance not to win this game. I'm sorry, I might be sounding like giving the game to Esperance even before the game will kick off, but I tell you, State Tunisian don't appear to stand a chance in this game. They are on a poor run of form, as you've said, and Esperance on the other hand have won their last couple of games. So for me, it's looking like an Esperance victory, but then again, you also have to countenance the fact that this is football. Anything can happen, and anything does happen in football.
Okay, so this game in the Tunisian league will be going down on Sunday. I hope you've had fun on the show, like I've done. Kyle Ogundari and James Agrebe, thank you for your thoughts and your analysis on the show today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Femi.
Yeah, thank you, Femi. See you on Monday.
So, fans across the world, thank you so much for sticking with Sports Africa. Thank you so much for your support. Please don't forget to share our videos. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to watch. Please subscribe to our video. Click on that notification button so that you get the video as soon as they drop. Please don't forget to tell someone to come around there, particularly if you're in diaspora, so that we'll take you through the journey of what is happening in Africa regarding football and other stories. Don't forget that the 13th African Games will officially open in Ghana today. And like we said, 2 billion, the organizer, the host country, are looking at 2 billion viewers, and they're very, very busy in Ghana. If you're in Ghana, please go to one of these venues where the games are taking place so that you can have fun. Wish you all on Monday. Have a fantastic weekend to yourself. Bye for now.